and like he's been through it before, so he knows the blueprint and it's sort of the map for the way back. But I don't want to be callous about it, but like we all know that Jordan Morris, just like Timmy Weah, just like Christian Pulisic, just like Gio Reyna, and everybody else, like Paul Arriola, who's with Jordan Morris at Swansea and just came back from ACL tear himself. These guys are all in a competition to get healthy and to win a job with the U.S. national team for the World Cup. And this probably puts Jordan Morris, well down that list. It probably means he's going to miss most, if not all, of World Cup qualifying. And it's like, let's say it takes 12 months. That means he's just starting to get back on the field in February of next year. Where were, from a U.S. national team perspective, where will the guys he was competing with to win a roster spot be? And that, I imagine that has to go through his head. And it just has to, especially because Jordan Morris isn't one of the young guys. He's 26 years old. This, 2022 was going to be his best chance to be a World Cup player. And those hopes dimmed pretty considerably this weekend.
I mean, just from a human perspective, when we hit this 2 straight shows, I'd like to think this show is almost always coming at things from a human perspective, but it's so awful because of the timing you were talking about. And it's not just the timeline to the World Cup, and I don't want to get too far ahead of myself. Jordan Morris was a huge part of us qualifying for that World Cup. He was that important and versatile, productive sort of player for the United States national team. But now for Jordan Morris, it comes in this weird moment in his career where probably this European dream, maybe, I don't know, I don't want to count it out. Maybe he comes back better than ever, and we talked about this in the pre-meeting, Dave, and you said 28 or so he could go. But then he's in this weird middle ground where is he as attractive? Is he going to have the same destinations he had? He had made the decision to stay in Seattle and delay this dream, defer it a little bit. And it worked out perfectly for him other than the injury. Into the national team, winning championships, best 11 quality, put himself on the platform to now make this jump. And it just felt like he had the world at his fingertips.
So I'm not disagreeing with anything you say. And obviously we're in a space now where we're putting words in someone else's mouth, so we're not sure. But I don't know that it was his dream. And I think that's kind of part of what happened. I think his dream was to win MLS Cup for Seattle Sounders in front of X amount of thousands of people in the middle of downtown Seattle, and to do it at his peak and play in a World Cup for the U.S. And so this is terrible and it sucks. But I think part of the challenge that he took on going there was, this is what everyone else is doing around me, and this is how I have to remain in the national team. And maybe I've accomplished as much as I think I can. So that's the next step. I don't know that Jordan Morris specifically came up saying, my only dream is to play at this competition in this country, in Champions League, in UEFA, whatever it is. So I will just say, and we were talking in the pre-meeting, if he comes back and has a good season next year and goes to the World Cup and gets himself into his starting lineup and has a good World Cup, there's a chance then he will be brought in as he's ready to play now type guy for a European team. He's had offers before Swansea that he turned down, not just out of college, since he's been in MLS, right? So he's turned it down more than once, to the point where I think that's the one silver lining here to me is for him to get back means, and fingers crossed for all of us, right? In front of a full crowd in downtown Seattle in 2022, playing in big MLS games. I think that's back for him. So I think that part's not as totally killer as this was the moment I've been building my whole life for, to go to Europe.